Hello, and welcome to another episode of Just Keep on Winging It in KSP RP-1. So you join me here at almost 14,000 meters in altitude with a modified version of the Vulture 1. So this is the same aircraft. I didn't build a new one, I just modified it. Basically, I increased the wingspan and then upgraded the J57 to the P21, which has more thrust. And hopefully that will get us to 25 kilometers in altitude, which is the last stratospheric research contract. It is an optional contract, but since I did modify the plane and I did talk about how I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make this, I decided to show this. But yeah, I'll try to keep it brief. So, time to engage the afterburners. I've just been climbing heading east, and now I just turned around. So let's try to get this puppy up to 25 kilometers. So I'm trying things a bit differently now. Instead of flying level and getting a lot of speed and then pulling up, I'm trying a more shallow climb where I'm still picking up speed. So you can see there in the helmet HUD, the speed is increasing at a decent pace. I might have to nose down a little bit here. Still relatively slow. Well, no, we still have some time before we start losing this momentum. Okay, we're starting to lose speed now, and we're still in a rather shallow climb, so let's see how it goes. But I mean, I have to start at less than 300, well, not start, but at some point I have to get to less than 300 meters per second. So as long as we get to altitude before our speed drops to that point, we should be good. Okay, we are at 24,000 meters and we are losing speed fast. The craft is also struggling to keep this attitude. But I think, yeah, we should be good. We should be good. I had to fly level to pick up speed a few times. But it does look like we're going to make it. Now the thing is, from the previous testing that I did, this thing struggled to, like, I'm going to lose. Okay, there we are, 25 kilometers. I'm going to be losing speed throughout this. Let's do 1, 2. Yeah, so as you can see there, our speed is slowly dropping, which means I have to keep an eye out on our altitude, because as our speed drops, so does our lift. So it's very much a management game of trying to give myself enough of a margin of error, like altitude-wise, so we don't drop below 25 kilometers, but also not climbing so much that I lose speed very quickly. Also, we're already quite far away from the... well, it's not so bad. It's going to be a long flight back. Okay, we're halfway there. It seems that at this altitude, the plane is no longer climbing, but I mean, as long as it doesn't start dropping like more than 10 meters per second vertical, we should be fine. So this is what the uh, new design looked like. I just increased the wingspan of this segment. I think this one I kept the same, and I think the flaps I kept the same length and width. So yeah, not really a lot of. Oh, I also added these intakes. So before I only had these intakes, and they got the nose cone that kind of curves towards the body. I added these for extra performance. Okay, three, two, one. Yes, parameter complete. So time to turn this around, and I'll come back with you for landing. Okay, we're coming in for landing. Nice and easy. This aircraft does not have air brakes. I really should have added them. But it's it has very good low speed flight characteristics. So as long as I just uh, manage my approach speed from the start, it's rather easy to land. I have the brakes set, perfect. Uh, so unfortunately, this is the only contract this plane is good for. So I won't get to fly it again unless I might have to do some science farming. And the only thing I can do before getting to orbit is like aircraft science, so supersonic, hypersonic, and high altitude. This one, the only one that would be able to manage would be supersonic, but I think it's up to the task. Let's throw down a bit more. I'm coming in a bit fast. Uh, so I need to be going at 450 meters per second for that experiment to work. But I just tested it on the way back, and it can hold it comfortably at 15 kilometers. Even though I didn't design it to be a fast plane, if it climbs high enough, the wing design doesn't really matter that much. Okay, time to cut down the throttle. Very gently here, bleeding off speed. Very smooth landing. So yeah, I guess like for the contract itself, using the Dragonfly would make more sense. That's a plane built for speed, but this is so much easier to land that I might consider it. Let's see. And then of course I'll have to use the Dragonfly for the other ones. Yeah, contract complete, the parameter complete. Oh, I also got confidence for that. I thought it only got a reputation. The description of the mission building was a bit misleading then. Uh, let's go a bit to the science to see where we're at, to the research center. Okay, before we go to the research center, let's talk about where we are a little bit. 19th of July 1957. I don't remember the exact date of Sputnik, but we're definitely not going to beat it. We still need to complete satellite era material science and orbital rocketry for that. No, I might be able to get it before orbital rocketry, but I still think I will do the optional contracts first. So I don't really care that much about beating Sputnik. I just want to get the program in a good position for when I start having to calculate lunar trajectories manually. So yeah, that's going to take, no wait, 116 days plus the 33. So actually, it will complete shortly after we complete the launch complex. So will it make sense to build the other rocket? I'm not sure. I'll see. I'll think about this. Um, Regarding the administration, since we're not researching any aircraft technologies for a while, I changed the contractors that were giving me bonuses for that research. So we have the Douglas Aircraft Company, Douglas. Uh, Even though they're also an aircraft company, their bonus is 300% integration speed of isogrid tanks, which will be the tanks that we will be using for the next rockets, so it makes sense. And Rocketdyne. Wait, no. Rocketdyne we already had. We changed to JPL instead of. So I think we had Bell and an OKB, one of the branches. So plus 10% to science, avionics, and electronics research speed, which we will need for that. The leaders I left like as they are. We have good bonuses, especially in we have a launch complex efficiency gain, a speed increase with Shilomi and Craft. Yeah, and Glushko is giving us early and orbital engine research speed. Also, stage rocket engine research speed, but we're not there yet. Yeah, and the programs. So we have 18th of December 1961 for the heavy satellites, and 3rd of May 1964 for X-planes. So it's definitely time to focus on these ones, on the satellites. So here's the meat of the issue. We need to research a lot of nodes for the two programs we have. For the X-planes, we need hypersonic flight because this is the only, or not the only, but the first cockpit that allows us to like keep crew alive past 75 kilometers, which we need because we need to pass the carbon line. So we need this. High-speed flight, not really. I think eventually I will go this since I want to focus on aircraft, but unfortunately there's not a lot of aircraft-based programs after this, so it might just be for fun. Let's see what kind of experiments. It might also be for experiments. Uh, but yeah, so we just need this that requires material science that we are already researching. So this one is the one that is finished in 33 days. For orbital rocketry, which is the program that finishes sooner, I mean, technically we don't need these two nodes, but it will, like, unless I make like really bizarre rockets. Yeah, we need these two nodes. I might. No, I don't think I can manage a rocket that can, because the scientific satellites and such, like they're 1,000 kilograms, and they do need a fairly high apogee, I think. So I think it's better to just get this node, which is only 7 science, so it should research fairly quickly. Well, we already saw 116 days, I think. We do need this node because for the scientific satellite, we need the Geiger-Müller counter. Uh, they did mention another option, but I think it's the next tier of radiation detector, so we're not going to get that. I think this one. I don't know what's the difference in the experiments, but yeah, to get this, we need, we already have that, we need electronics, which for that we need avionics. So we need these three. Fortunately, with the new contractors that we got, or was it a leader? Oh, no, I didn't change the leaders. Okay, we have somebody in one of the administration positions that helps with this, and with this. Avionics, science, and electronics. So that's very good. Now the problem is we only have a 3.7 science, and we still need to queue this one up. Well, it's only 7. Um, yeah, I hadn't really checked how much science we needed. So I think we'll get that science for just with the first orbital, or maybe even the downrange milestone contracts, because I still have some. What is it? Which is the ion mass spectrometer. We still have this experiment that needs to be completed. I need to add it to the rocket. I shouldn't forget about that. But I might still do some flights just to get the science. I mean, we need to get the supersonic science data at some point, so we might as well do it while we're waiting for the rocket to build. Um, but that's, I can do that off camera. We do need to get the explains Mach 2 supersonic, so I think we'll do this next as we already have the aircraft. So be back with that mission. Okay, here we are in the Dragonfly. Being a bit aggressive with the joystick there. So the contract mission is to spend 5 minutes above, well, between 625 meters per second and 650. I have changed the contract in this cockpit to Mach 2 flight. Let's stop it for now. That you need to be between 620 and 800 and something meters per second. So it falls right within the parameters for this one. Supersonic flight, the upper bounds for it were below 625, so it didn't make sense to include it here. Like, I will still spend some time in that area just to get to this, but it's going to be much less. So let's take care of this, and then I'll switch around and do some flights just for the science, or like I said earlier, use the Volter. I'm going to do a shallow climb here without afterburner. It's 5 minutes at a very high speed, so I I do want to get a bit of distance from the space center before turning around. Otherwise, I'll be way too far in the other direction. Which, I mean, yeah, in the end, it's the flight time that I'm going to have to do anyway. So it's going to be a long flight, but I'll just give you the updates. Okay, so this is what I was talking about in the previous episode. I think it was previous episode. So right now we have Natalie in the cockpit. The seat position is up, and I can see without a problem the altimeter here. With Friedrich, his head is high enough that this part over here blocks my view uh, of the altimeter, like right around here. So there is a height difference between the Kerbals, and it is actually modeled, which, okay, uh, probably would have been low in my set of priorities, but it's still cool, attention to detail. Huh. Also, so I had to go into the spaceplane hangar to change the experiment, and I noticed that I forgot to remove the fuel from the wings. If you remember, I kind of took the Kingfisher, like the wings and such, to not have to like resize them again. I think eventually I ended up resizing them anyways, but I didn't start from scratch, so I used the Kingfisher wings that had fuel for the Kingfisher engine, which is not the same as this engine. I think we have kerosene only. Yeah. So I was carrying a lot of dead weight in the previous mission with the Dragonfly, so that was dumb. But okay, now I know, and hopefully that means this landing is easier. Okay, we have turned around. We're at around 11,000 meters. Time to engage the afterburner, and then we'll engage the ramjet at around 450 meters per second. For some reason, this afterburner doesn't make a lot of sound, or doesn't make this sound, the afterburner sound, let's say. Wait, wasn't there that a bug last episode? I'm not sure. Maybe when I activate the ramjet, but it should still. I know it's disconcerting. But yeah, we're picking up speed, definitely. Let's also try to climb a bit with this. Okay, time to turn on the ramjet. Oh boy, we're already passing by the space center, and we're not even up to speed. Okay, we can start this experiment. 24 minutes remaining. And let's with this. Okay, we're getting the cabin overheat light, but honestly, this turned on in the previous mission while going in the Volta for landing, so we were going very slow. I don't know what's up with this. Okay, 10 seconds to go. I think I'll keep going uh, one more minute after this until we have 17 minutes left in this clock. just to get more data here. Okay, we have turned around and I have accelerated again to the parameter distance. I'll keep going a little bit, but we're running a lot of fuel, so I shouldn't overdo it. If we have the fuel, I'll get to 150 kilometers and then turn off the afterburner and the ramjet flare. Okay, that depleted the experiment, so no sense in keeping this going. Let's turn off the afterburner first. And then the ramjet once we're below 450. Okay, fuel might become an issue, so I have actually idled the engine and closed the intakes. Okay, we're less than 20 kilometers away. So far so good, still have some fuel in the tanks. Glide slope, all that good stuff. Brakes are set. Gear still up. Going a bit fast for my liking now. Less than 10 kilometers. Landing gear down. Two kilometers. Okay, brakes and flare. Okay, that was less nerve-wracking than last time. Fuel. So for the next mission, that is 720 meters per second, I have to just do the contract and turn around. I can't keep on going because I won't have the fuel. It will already be a bit iffy. But yeah, here's the no confidence this time because it was a required contract, but that takes care of all of the jet plane required contracts. Now it's only rocket planes. So the altitude ones and the hypersonic one. Uh, so apparently there's another stratospheric research contract that goes to 30,000 meters. Uh, no way, right? Still 300, less than 300 meters per second at 30,000 meters. Being able to keep attitude. Okay, might be an interesting challenge while we wait for the rockets to complete, but for the moment, let's say that's not going to happen. This one is, and yeah, of course, the rocket ones. This one, Carmeline, Hypersonic. And there's, I think, several. Okay, so it says there's two more, but then I think after Carmeline, there will be others. Oh my god, that's crazy. 5 minutes, 30,000 meters. Okay. Okay, it is finally here, our first orbital rocket. Now, to clarify, this isn't going to orbit. We're doing the 6,000 kilometer downrange contract, but it will be the same rocket. This episode is already quite long, so let's just get to it. And of course, we had failures. Okay, be back with the next one. I'm already building the second one. And another failure. Bloody hell. Really? Again? Oh my god, this is infuriating. Nope. Um, okay, finally we have takeoff. I'm not sure what's going on here. I think this might just be a bug from repairing the rocket. Okay, so that took way too many attempts that I just decided to uh, edit them out. Basically, when an engine fails and you get the option to repair the engines, it does repair them, but it doesn't replenish the ignition fluid, so it's not going to work anyways. Fortunately, now they have added back the option to roll back to the VAB before you can do it, to recover to the VAB, so that way you can repair the engines, replenish the ignition fluid, and then it works fine. But yeah, just simply repairing on the pad is not going to work because you can't ignite them again unless you have an engine with several ignitions. Now, to the rocket. This isn't the one I had originally said I was going to build. I had built one with, so I didn't use the Atlas Sustainer engine, which is the one we have here, but a previous engine just so that we could build it before we unlocked the node. But I finished building the launch complex like just 40 days before the node finished researching. So I decided it was better to just already modify the launch complex to accommodate the fuel for these engines and build it straight like this. That way I didn't have to purchase two more engines because we're already... These engines were expensive to unlock, so we're strapped for cash right now. I also ended up with 3 engines instead of 2 because when I switched the VAB to see the thrust to weight ratio with these engines, it was fine at launch. It wasn't fine at when we separate the boosters, and I did not notice that. So when testing this, uh, thrust to weight ratio was less than 1, which is never good. So we had a delta V to spare, and I added another engine, and it works. Like this rocket has like 10,000 meters per second of delta V with the 1,000 units of sounding rocket payload. So it's pretty capable, and I think we can probably fulfill all of the program launches for this one, the heavy satellites program. Okay, this is a long burn, so I'll come back with Miko. Okay, we're close to Miko, and yeah, and two successful ignitions of the AG-10s. So yeah, in the previous iteration, I had another engine here. I forgot the name, a Russian engine, but the AG-10 has a better specific impulse in vacuum and better thrust weight ratio. So now we are using this launch to get data units instead of spending money on another engine that I will probably not use anymore. Already at an apogee of over 800 kilometers, and there's still another stage to go. So yeah, this, if I pointed this at the horizon, it would get to orbit. Well, probably at earlier time. And successful ignition of the final stage. And at this point, I think even if both engines fail, we'll get there. Like, this is severely over-engineered for the contract, but like I said, it's also giving us a lot of valuable data for having the first satellite launch be successful. Okay, that's the final stage complete. Let's time warp. Look at that. We already completed the contract and we're still 16 minutes away from apogee. I may have gone overboard. Uh, but if that means this rocket is good for the entirety of the program, then that's a good thing. I'll follow this down just to get the science, and I'll see you back at the Space Center. Oh, almost forgot. So 7,000 meters per second on cruise speed record, and 2,000 kilometers. And a lot of confidence for this. Okay, let's quickly. I had to time warp quite a lot to get to this point. So let's quickly. Oh, it's already July. Oh, it really was a lot. Um, I'll tell you what has been happening. I hired a bunch of engineers and researchers when I finished building the launch complex, but then I almost went broke from buying the engines, so I had to fire them. So now we need 90 more engineers to be at full capacity in the launch complex. We're at 250 researchers, and I think the hangar I just left it with 10 engineers. Yeah. I also changed. I had I forget who I had, but they were giving us faster research in early orbital rocketry, which we're no longer researching, and they were reducing our funding. So I changed this to uh, Douglas. Same 1% less funding from less funds from program funding, but at least we get integration speed. So all of them give this basically. Um, and I think that's it. So I think this is a good time to leave it. I will do the next milestone contract off camera. It's not required. Be the same exact launch. And first thing next episode, we'll try to get to orbit. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.